Video, we'll talk about creating a new material for your project. So in this case, we're already working on Revit, but we want to add a different material. In this case, I've created several walls, and if I go into my interior elevation, I want to see my wall. I go change this to realistic view so you can have a better view. You can see that the material, right now there's no material placed on this wall, but I want it to have some sort of tile. The first thing would be to actually find what material I want to create. In this case, you could visit a place where they sell different types of materials and so on. A place that might be found locally is Floor and Decor. So in this case, you can find a different material, and we can see this is a porcelain tile. So it actually provides some images already for you that you can visualize the space. So we can see how it already has this material. We can see how it can sort of be placed. We can see that it also has this sort of different tiling or ways of placing, so it doesn't have to just be like this, but for this purpose we're just going to see how it's being placed sort of in a different pattern. But for now we're only going to be placing it this way, and at a later time we'll learn how to sort of manipulate the position of these. So the first step is finding your material and being able to save that file. In this case, if I were to create something like this that has different types of spacing, I would work with a single file. But since I just want to use that already a preset that they're giving me, and again, you can go to different types of materials and it should give you a more complete version of different tiles already connected. So in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click it, I'm going to simply put save image as. As you can see, when it saves it, it's going to save it as a different type of file. The best thing is to actually select it and go to this so that it opens it up a bit bigger. I'm going to click save images as, and it's still going to give me a different type of file, which is fine. I'm going to click save. When I open it up, it's going to give me this file. You can see it was not PNG or JPEG, which you might be used to, but there's different ways that you can do this. You can find a way of convert it online, but also here it allows you to, if you do these three buttons, for it to see more information, you can click on save as or control S, and then you're not only able to save it as, now let's say tile new. Make sure you keep the same name that you're using, ivory, porcelain, and so on. But now it allows you to actually save it in PNG. So we're searching for PNG for now. So I'm going to click PNG. In my case, I've already saved it, which should be this one. So I'm not going to save it, but I've done it already in the past. Alright, so now that you got your material in PNG format, we're going to go back to Revit. So going in Revit, we're going to actually go to Manage. I'm going to click on Materials. When I click on Materials, I'm going to click here for Create a New Material. I'm going to rename it by right-clicking, call it the same name that we just found in the website. So click here, we'll call it Form Ivory Porcelain Tile. Name. You could actually go even further and giving it its dimensions. So I know this is 12 by 24. So I'm going to give it the actual information. If I go back to this, I know that this is going to tell me some information, such as the size, 12 by 24, and it also tells me the grout sort of information, and so on, product thickness, and so on. So all of this information will be important to sort of know how to place it. Going back to Revit, so now I'm going to click here on image, and I'm going to search for that tile that I've just saved from the website, and so I know it's actually this Inform Ivory Porcelain tile. I'm going to click on open. You can see it's already adding that sort of material. I can also change this view if I want it to be more like a wall or something, and it might be harder to sort of see in different views, so maybe this is easier and so on. You can also just choose like a plane depending on what you're doing and so on. I keep it on the cube for now. Next thing is I'm going to click on this image just by selecting it, and it's going to give me my dimensions. So as you can see, it's already placed my material, but it's telling me that from here to here it's 1 foot. In the case of textured wood and real world scale, same thing here. It's telling me that indicates the height in real world scale. But you can see it's telling me it's from here to here, which is my actual material. So I'm going to go down, and I know that this is 12 by 24. So 2 of these should be 48 inches. So I'm going to go with my width and put 48 inches. And I'm going to go with my height, 48 inches, 4 feet. The first thing I do need to do before I've done that is actually lock these. This is going to make it proportional, but in this case I want to be very specific with my dimensions. So I know that my width is 4, because it's 2 of these, 24, 24. And there's 3 in my image, so I know that from here to here it should be 36 inches, or 3 feet. So I'm just going to put 3 feet, and now I got my sort of tie going on. And click done. There's other settings you can sort of play with depending on what your material is, such as the glossiness, how much does it shine. You can play with the reflectivity. If this would have been a metallic material, could have done that. If there would have been some transparency, such as some type of glass, some type of acrylic, perhaps it could have done that. If there's some openings, if there's actually has some glow. We'll talk about a little bit about bump and tint later on as we progress with creating materials. But we already, at least for a first step, I think this is okay. I'm going to press OK now. And you can see my wall didn't change because my wall is still my generic original wall. I'm going to click on Edit Type, and I'm going to duplicate it. For the sake of this purposes, I'm going to put my initials in case for now. And I'm going to put, what the wall is. It's going to be a 4-inch wall. With tile, and this is where you can also give it the name of the tile. Press OK. So now I have my initials, the thickness, and the material. I'm going to click on Edit, and when I see Edit, you'll see that this is where you can show what your wall is composed of. In my case, I'm going to change this from where it says material to my new material conform. Press OK. Press OK, and now my wall should have that material. And if we were to measure this, it should be the real length that we sort of walked with. You can see that it does become a bit blocky or a bit repetitive, almost like a pattern. And that's something that we'll have to work on later on, how to make it more seamless, how to make it more, create different variations of it. And that's something that it takes a little bit, a couple more steps to create this more custom, realistic material. We still have to explore the idea of adding bump, adding some other textures that go as an underlay of these material. But for now, as a first step, just to get familiar how to create and import your own material, this is the start. You can also continue playing with the scaling if that's something that could help, and also depending on the image itself. So first step, adding the material, and so that we can bring our material into Revit.